The sound of the meeting room door closing felt louder than usual. No one spoke. The coffee on the table had gone cold, and the words on the documents blurred in front of everyone's eyes. Then, the executive spoke. "We can't let this one slide." Everyone knew where that sentence was headed. His gaze moved slowly to the end of the table. Manager Kim sat there, hands folded, silent, and for the first time, his name was written in the meeting minutes. Manager Kim. The moment that name appeared on the page, the meeting was already over. The executive leaned back in his chair. This mistake didn't happen overnight. His voice was calm. Too calm. "It's a result of poor management." No names were mentioned, but everyone understood. A junior employee lowered his head. His hands trembled, just slightly. Someone cleared their throat, then stopped. The silence grew heavier. The executive continued. "Someone has to take responsibility." Eyes shifted. One by one. No one looked at the junior anymore. They were all looking in the same direction. Manager Kim. He did not move. He did not speak, but his jaw tightened. He had seen this before. Many times. The room waited, not for an answer, but for obedience. Someone finally broke the silence. Manager Kim has handled situations like this before. The words landed softly, but they cut deep. A few heads nodded. No one met his eyes. The executive smiled. "Just a little." "Exactly," he said. "You're experienced." Experienced. That word followed him. Back to late nights and locked offices. Back to reports rewritten, and names erased. Back to younger faces that disappeared. After he stayed silent, Manager Kim breathed in slowly. He knew what they wanted. They wanted him to cover it again. The room felt familiar. Too familiar. And for the first time, he wondered how many times had he saved the company, and how many times had he lost himself. The executive leaned forward. "So, what do you think?" The question was simple, but the room knew there was only one acceptable answer. Manager Kim felt the weight of every eye, of every year. If he spoke now, everything would stay the same. The junior would disappear. The file would be closed. The company would move on, and he would remain respected, trusted, empty. Manager Kim looked at the table, at the papers neatly stacked, ready to bury someone. He lifted his head. For a moment, no one breathed. This time, he did not nod. The executive raised an eyebrow. "You disagree?" The word hung in the air. Manager Kim spoke slowly. "This is not his responsibility." The room froze. No one had expected that sentence. The junior looked up. For the first time, a quiet ripple moved through the room. No one spoke, but everyone reacted. Someone shifted in their seat. Another pretended to read the papers. The executive's expression changed slowly, almost carefully. "You're certain?" he said, not as a question, but as a test. Manager Kim did not answer right away. Silence stretched. Then he nodded once, without hesitation. The air felt heavier, as if the decision had weight. The junior's breathing became audible. Across the table, someone avoided looking at him. This was no longer a discussion. It was a line, and Manager Kim had stepped across it. The executive's voice dropped. "If you protect him," he said, "you take his place." The meaning settled slowly. It was not a threat. It was a calculation. Protect the junior, and your name follows his. Every mistake, every consequence. Manager Kim listened, without interrupting. He had heard worse. In quieter rooms. "This company rewards loyalty," the executive continued. Not hesitation. Several people nodded, not because they agreed, but because they were afraid. Manager Kim finally spoke. "Loyalty should not require silence." The room stiffened. That was not the answer they expected. The executive leaned back. "So this is your decision," he said. Manager Kim met his eyes. "Yes," he replied, clearly, calmly, and in that moment everyone understood. The balance had shifted. The executive exhaled slowly. "You understand what this means?" he said. It was not a question. Manager Kim did. He understood perfectly. The promotions that would stop, the doors that would quietly close, the meetings he would no longer be invited to, the way people would lower their voices when he walked by. This decision would not be written in any report, but it would be remembered. The executive continued. "From this point on, don't expect protection." Protection. Manager Kim almost smiled. He had mistaken protection for safety, and safety for integrity. He straightened his back. "I don't need it," he said. The words felt heavy but honest. Across the table, someone swallowed hard. Everyone knew this was the price, and Manager Kim had already paid it. The junior finally spoke. His voice shook, but he forced the words out. "I didn't mean for this to happen." Manager Kim looked at him, not as a manager, not as a shield, but as someone who had once stood in the same place. "You followed the process," Manager Kim said. "That matters." The junior's eyes filled. No one had said that to him before. In this company, mistakes were remembered, effort was not. Manager Kim continued. "You don't learn by disappearing." The words lingered. They were simple but rare. The junior nodded, not in relief but in resolve. For the first time, he felt seen. The meeting ended, without closure. No conclusion, no signatures, no resolution. Chairs moved back slowly. No one rushed to stand. People avoided eye contact, as if silence could erase what had just happened. The hallway outside felt longer. Footsteps echoed, one after another. No conversations followed, only the soft sound of doors closing behind them. Manager Kim walked last, not because he was told to, but because no one knew how to walk beside him. The office returned to its routine, but something had shifted, and everyone felt it. Back at his desk, Manager Kim sat down slowly. The office noise returned, phones ringing, keyboards clicking. As if nothing had happened, his screen lit up. A message appeared. HR requests a meeting. No time, no explanation, just that sentence. Manager Kim stared at it. He had seen messages like this before, but never with his own name attached. Around him, no one looked up, not out of cruelty, but out of fear. He locked his screen, folded his hands, and waited, not for instructions, but for consequences. Manager Kim remained seated, the message still on his screen. He did not delete it. He did not reply. For years, he had measured his days by approval, by silence from above. This time felt different. There was no rush in his chest, no need to justify himself, only a quiet sense of alignment. For the first time, his decision and his position stood on the same side. He leaned back and exhaled, not in relief, but in acceptance. Whatever came next, he was ready. Across the office, the executive watched from behind a glass wall. He did not look angry. Anger was unnecessary. This was already moving in his favor. He checked his phone. A short message sent. No words wasted. He smiled, not wide, not openly, just enough. People like Manager Kim were predictable. They always believed one good decision could change the rules. The executive stood, straightened his jacket, and turned away. "This will be handled," he said quietly. Manager Kim stood up. He adjusted his jacket. The office around him continued, unchanged. He began walking, each step steady, not away from the company, but toward the consequence. At the end of the hallway, the HR door waited. He stopped for a moment, then knocked, not knowing if he would return, but knowing this time he did not look away.